Basketball was definitely a big part of my life, even early on. I also played football though, soccer at the same time, around grade 1 and 2 when I was. A lot of people don't know this, but I went to Xavier for 2 years before I went to Ateneo in grade 3. So I used to play a lot of football there. I remember my ninang even gave me a football plus like gloves and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I played football for a while, but really it was basketball over anything. Especially when I moved to Ateneo, I was able to try out for some of the teams there. I was able to play right away. So that really sparked my love for basketball, I guess.
Why did you stop football, or wala lang, you just wanted to just do basketball?
I feel like it was just it's just a leisure thing for me. A lot of my classmates played football aside from basketball. So whenever we weren't
Oh,
playing
okay.
basketball, I'd play football. But once I got to Ateneo, it was really dominated by basketball. You didn't really see a lot of people on the football field during lunchtime. So yeah, I fell in love with basketball even more.
Yeah. So I think you went to Ateneo grade 3, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when you were in Ateneo, were you instantly a varsity player until like your high school, college days already, like tuloy-tuloy na?
Yeah, in grade 3, I forgot what team I played for in grade 3, but I wasn't eligible to play it for SPP because I was grade 4. So grade 4, I played SPP till grade 6, and then after that I played Paya.
Yeah.
Then I played my ball in first year.
Yeah.
And then second year I played UAP all the way to fourth year. I just took 1 year off. First year college I didn't play. I only played for Gilas for Batang Gilas because I was cut from the Ateneo team my first year.
So from all those stints, like people don't really know much about the grade school and high school days of certain players because it's not televised or people don't write much stuff about it. So from your perspective, what was like the best moment of that whole stint that you had from grade school and high school? And along with the best moment that you will share, what's like a major lesson that you got from any of your coaches or teammates or even opponents that you could share?
Well, in grade school, probably the best moments were winning We won championships every year. With Mike, Matt Nieto,
Yeah.
30, all those guys, Jolo Mendoza. We've been together for so long, and we won championships. I think we went to the Philippine championship. So after SPP, you go to the nationals, and
Yeah.
we won over there as well. When I got to high school, we didn't win. I just went to the finals once in my last year, but there were a lot of good moments still. I remember we played NU in the finals, and they were tries to beat, and we gave them a run for their money. We came up short, but we still gave them a run for their money. And my best moment there probably would be having um, almost the whole San Juan gym filled with Ateneo high school students, like cheering us on. And I
Yeah.
had my career high game that in game one of that final, so it was pretty crazy for me. In terms of the lessons I learned, I think from my coaches, I remember when I was in second and third year, I wasn't the hardest worker. Um, growing up with your dad being your dad, sometimes you think you can be handed things, and that's something that I didn't really realize I couldn't get till around late third year, fourth year because I tore my ACL. And when I tore my ACL, that taught me a lot of things about life, basically about basketball. It's not promised, and you have to work hard for it. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. My coaches tried to drive that to me, and finally, my late third year to fourth year, I was able to understand that.
So how important also was your dad in your development? So because you said like in your first few years you weren't really the best you weren't the most masipag or the hardest working person on the team. So was your dad always pushing you? Because I really observe like in games, even with his other players, he really pushes them because he knows they have something to prove and they have the skill set. So I'm pretty sure he's also like that with you. So as like you were like a teenager at that time. So how was he in terms of the guidance he'd give and the advice that he'd give when you were overcoming those struggles as a teenager?
Well, my dad never forced me to play basketball. He said, if you want to play, it's up to you. If you don't want to play, then be a good student. But really, when I started to fall in love with the game, he just said, if you are going to play this game, you better not do it half-assed, basically.
Mm.
And that's when a lot of friction came in my second year. Sometimes I wouldn't want to do extra work. I wouldn't want to lift weights. I was a skinny kid when I was in high school. Uh, my whole high school, I was a skinny kid. And
Yeah,
I would fight him about
yeah,
lifting weights doing push-ups and things like that, because
Yeah.
I want to be on a PlayStation, or do
Yeah,
this and
yeah.
that. I just want to go out and play five on
Yeah.
five. I don't want to do extra work. So he taught me a lot of things. Really, he didn't force me, but at the same time, he really pushed me to be the best I could be. And just like I said, that ACL, after that ACL, that's when everything started to turn around for me. I started to understand what he was really saying.
Yeah. Can you talk about a bit? I saw this long. I didn't know this info before, but like, can you talk about how your dad also tutored you academically? Like, it sounds so cool because I saw an article. I don't know from where. I just searched it a few minutes ago that he helped you also with academics for a while.
Yeah. Well, as you can infer, if I was lazy about playing ball, I was also a little bit lazy studying
Yeah.
years in high school. So, he would really tutor me. He'd make sure I do my homework. My mom would too. They would split basically. My
Mm.
mom would take Filipino and AP and things like that, and my dad would take math, science, and language. So yeah, he tutored me. We would tutor before practice. Sometimes I get out of class. We tutor in the car, or he was still coaching at Ateneo, so we tutor upstairs. But when I got to college, that was done. That was done with
Yeah, yeah.
after I took care of my own studies. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely thankful for both my parents for helping me out at that time.
Yeah. So I also want to ask, since you keep mentioning like how you have a strong support system, maybe that's why you had a good you grew up as like a fine young man. So how important is having a good support system in the development of a person, I guess, like, or an athlete? What perspective, in which perspective you'd want to take? How important is the support system in their guidance and their way of like building you up the person that they want you to be when you were like a baby?
Well, I tweeted this actually the other day. I said that when you're down, you try to surround yourself with the right people, and they'll get you back up on your feet. And really, my family, my just like I said, the people I grew up with, my closest friends, can mention them: Ken, Ram, R, Zags, Diego. These guys I grew up with, as well as my girlfriend, who's been so supportive the last 4 years. It's really it's a big thing, because I went through a point in my life where my last year in Ateneo, I wasn't playing. I was sitting on the bench, and that was new for me because I had never sat on the bench before in my life. And when you sit on the bench as a senior, you don't really know what's going to happen next, because when you go into the draft, you have no draft stock. And I didn't really know what was going to happen, but really the people around me helped me a lot. I went through some dark times during those days, but they lifted me up. They tried to push me, especially my close friends. We would work out almost every day after that when I left Ateneo. So they'd be there with me 11 p.m., 10 a.m. It didn't matter. They'd be there working out with me. So it's definitely a big thing.